Hey, good morning, Clear Lake peeps. Ross England here at Clear Lake Guide Service with your Clear Lake activity and fishing report for March 18th, halfway through the month. Holy moly. I'm coming to you from the garage. Sorry about that. What you can't see is what's still a lot of my trolling motor parts laying across the deck of the boat. We came to an early end to yesterday's fishing. And let me just tell you from experience one real quick story. If your trolling motor quits working, it's completely dead, and you know you got batteries, you might want to sneak back and check the connecting nuts on your 3 trolling motor batteries. 2 of mine on one battery almost vibrated themselves completely off, so I basically was running on, or not running, on a 24 volt system. So just check them. You might be thankful at some point. So, okay, conditions report. Got a little bit of rain this week. Rain this morning, actually overnight and this morning. Unfortunately, it hasn't really amounted to much. There is a trickle of water running through Kelsey Creek. A trickle of water, a little bit, has filled up some puddles in Adobe as well. Nothing of any significance yet. This morning, 1.2 on the Rumsey gauge. So it's come up about 1/10 of an inch in a week. Not much. Nothing useful, other than it's just wet outside. As soon as it gets a little windy and a little bit of sun comes out, that'll all dry up and that'll be gone. So no help on the water level. Water temperature was kind of all over the board. We had some cold mornings, and it was back down to 49 degrees on the upper end of the lake when I launched. Worked its way up to 51, 52, 53, depending on where you were. I didn't get all over the lake. The farthest I got down was yesterday. We got down into just below the Narrows. And honestly, I was fighting the wind so hard, I really didn't pay attention to what the water temperature was. Yesterday was one of those days that the forecast said the wind was going from the east. And that was fine if you were in a place where the wind was blowing from the east. Other than that, it was blowing from the north, and it blew from the south, and it blew from just about every other direction you could think of. If the compass could make up 2 more, they probably would have come from those directions as well. It was an interesting day yesterday. So water temperatures all over the board. I don't expect a huge change in those water temperatures either, based on the weather that I see coming, both today and over the next couple of days. Clarity, anywhere from 1 foot to 2.5 feet, again, in the places that I got into. I think the good news is, you look at the forecast past this weekend, it looks like a lot of sunshine, a lot of 60 to even mid 70 degree days. So, we're going to see some water temperatures, especially on the North Shore, probably pushing up into the mid 50, 57, 58 degree range late next week. And I think things are going to really start to change for the better. Morning lows are still, a little bit low. I only saw a couple of morning lows that were going to be in the low 40s. So there's still some high 30s in there. We're certainly not into the, morning 50 degree temperatures, which really cranks things up. I think that's enough about the weather. Activities. This weekend, we have the Chamber of Commerce tournament, team tournament going out of Lakeport. This event used to be 200 plus boats. It'll probably be, we'll call it 100 boats plus or minus. It's a 2-day event, no cutoff. So there'll be guys, there's people here pre-fishing now. They'll be pre-fishing again tomorrow. It's a Saturday, Sunday event. My records show that next weekend the 26th, 27th, 28th, there is supposed to be a New Gen Pro-Am. I was just down and visited Jimmy's shop just a little bit ago, and according to him, he heard that the Pro-Am has been canceled. So that would mean the only thing going on the weekend of the 27th and 28th would be the number of club tournaments that are up here. And since I brought my calendar out, just to let you know, for your future planning, that week of the April 12th through the 18th is going to be a mess up here. That's the one California Open, and I think the last I heard they were in excess of 270 boats. So that weekend, or I should say that 5-day stretch from April 14th through 18th, I really wouldn't plan on being here. It's not going to be that fun. So that pretty much takes care of the activities. So I think we covered all of that. Let's talk fishing a little bit. We're not smoking them, but I'm not embarrassed with what we're catching. We've gone anywhere from, and again, you got to consider some of the conditions we've been fishing in. We've gone from a low of, I think, 7 fish yesterday to 18 fish. And the norm is running around 15 to 18 fish a day for us. We're doing it all on underspins, small swim baits, a few shaky head fish if we stop to fish them, a few drop shot fish if we stop to fish them. You know, our deal has been running around in 6 to 7 feet of water around the upper end of the lake and just fishing. Sometimes we're 150 yards offshore. That's where 6 feet is. So definitely not, I guess that would be a pattern, but it's not a fun pattern because you just have to go put the trolling motor down and cover 150 yards. And if you do, you're going to catch 1 or 2 fish. Maybe if you catch a little school coming through, you catch more. Most of the fish that we're catching are males. You know, they're bucks. They're just sitting out there waiting to get started. Later in the day, it seems like is when we're more likely to run into a female. And we've caught a couple of 5s and a 6 doing that. Same stuff that we're catching the smaller fish on during the day. Mornings for us have still been slow. I'm still not getting out until probably, 9:30 in the morning, and then trying to fish as late as I can into the day because that last 2.5 hours in the afternoon really is a much better bite than those first 2.5 hours are, at least in my experience. I know that there's still some huge bags coming in on some of these tournaments the past couple of weeks. Absolutely monster bags. I don't care about those as much as I care about the fact that there is a lot of big fish being weighed in. This year, I don't know whether it's because of the low water and these big fish, are more accessible. The last couple of years everybody was talking about how all the big fish had died, and I just disagreed with that. I really felt that we still had a really good population of big fish. And I don't know where they go. I have no idea, but I know that these 11-pounders that have been caught in the last couple weeks, they don't go from 5 pounds to 11 pounds in 1 year. So that means they were 8, 9, 10-pounders last year, the same thing for the year before. Those fish are here. You still have the shot at catching a giant fish here if you're looking for one fish. Just remember, these fish don't respond really well to high pressure events like 270 boat tournaments. Believe me, that particular week, if there is any place that has any fish, there's going to be dozens of boats sitting on it fishing them. So the one thing that I don't talk about a whole lot, because I just don't do it a whole lot anymore, is live bait fishing. And I really don't know how it's going because I haven't purchased any live bait this year. I haven't had any live bait trips. And I'm not seeing a lot of people fishing live bait right now. So it should be good. It should especially be good in the next couple of weeks, probably through the middle of April as water temperatures start to come up. But a real big issue with the low water this year, there's a lot of stuff that we would normally float minnows around that it's out of water. You know, it's just out of the water. So that kind of leaves you fishing some of the deeper tules around the lake, some of the, you know, deeper docks, especially on the upper end. You know, there's only 3 or 4 areas I can really think of that the docks are deep enough to fish right now. That puts most of you, you know, either in the Narrows or down in the Redbud or Rattlesnake Arms. So, you know, I was thinking about that, and I thought the last couple of weeks I probably should talk about that live bait fishing a little bit, because I don't do it as many times as I used to. It's a really fun thing for a lot of people. Any of you who are into live bait fishing, you still have opportunities to buy them at the tackle shops around the lake. There's Limit Out down at Clear Lake Oaks. There's Clear Lake Bait and Tackle, Jimmy's shop down at Redbud. There's Clear Lake Outdoors up here in Lakeport, and then there's also Lakeport Tackle, which is right next to the Skylark. So those are the 4 main places that I'm aware of. There used to be another one over in Nice, but I don't know if they're carrying minnows anymore or not. So I think that's about it. I'm really looking forward to this crappy weather being done. I'm tired of getting beat up. Don't know what's ahead, but April is always an awesome month. We still got, you know, about a week and a half left to March. I really do expect to start catching some fish. Hopefully we can get out and finally start to get a really good rip bait bite going, which is something that should be going. And then those of you that are just looking for one big fish and just want to go around all day throwing, you know, one big swim bait looking for that bite, I think the next couple of weeks are going to be real telling. In the past, leading up to the Chamber of Commerce tournaments, we always used to be on really good swim bait bites for quality fish, and then it seemed like the beating that the fish took on that particular weekend, all of a sudden you didn't quite catch the quality that we were looking for, because I think a lot of them were a little bit gun shy from just following baits, getting stuck on baits, getting let go. So I really think that this spring is going to be good. I think there's going to be some really big fish caught. I think there's going to be some really good limits caught, more limits caught in these tournaments. More importantly, those of you coming up here just fishing and just trying to have a good time, I think just dinking around out here, you're going to, you know, bare minimum get a 17.5 to 19 pound limit. And as soon as we get another couple weeks of really good weather, that may bump up to 20 pounds. So contrary to popular belief, all the big fish in the lake didn't die. They're swimming around out there. They're being caught. They're being photographed, and your friends are showing them off. So that's it for today. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Hope everything goes well for you. My little buddy Caleb, he's in Texas this week. He just got introduced to a white bass fishing trip. I think it was Lake Buchanan, if I'm not mistaken. And he had a ball. Him and his dad and his grandpa caught 40 fish and one very important catfish. They caught the catfish trolling, believe it or not. I'll talk to you folks next week. Have a good one.